Have you ever heard of small towns where danger walks hand in hand with everyday life? Well, smaller towns aren't always the most peaceful. In this video, we're going to explore some of the most dangerous towns in the United States that, despite their size, have shocking violent crime rates. From shootings in Steele, South Carolina, to organized crime in Columbus, New Mexico, these places prove that size doesn't always matter when it comes to safety. If you're curious to find out which places these are and what's behind all this violence, stay with me until the end! And of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments if you've ever been near one of these towns! Henderson, North Carolina! Welcome to Henderson, the small town of 15,000 people that, despite its size, is known for having a crime rate that would make a big city think twice! With nearly 15 violent crimes per 1,000 residents, living here is almost like participating in a daily game of Russian roulette, but without the glamour of the movies! Assaults, fights, and property crimes are on the daily menu! If you're thinking of visiting, you might want to keep your GPS on and your belongings well guarded! The curious thing is that, despite being a small town, Henderson has a crime variety worthy of a Hollywood production. You find a bit of everything! It's as if they had a complete selection of illegal activities to diversify the violence! Thinking of escaping the hustle and bustle of a big city? Think again! Here, violence is on the menu, and the only sure thing is that the main dish is insecurity. And the worst part! Solutions seem to always fall short, leaving residents in a constant state of tension! Oh, and a tip if you go there, trade the tourist map for a survival guide! With a prime location on the Mexican border, you'd think this little town of 1,800 people would be a quiet, relaxing spot, right? Wrong. Instead, Columbus has become a real haven for illegal activities. It's estimated that 15% of the population is directly involved in some type of crime. It's almost as if everyone knows someone in the business, if you know what I mean. With 18 violent crimes per 1,000 residents, you're more likely to come across an illegal scheme than a sale at the market. The proximity to the border has made Columbus a strategic point for organized crime, and the town seems to have embraced its role in this theater of the absurd. If you're thinking of visiting to get a taste of life on the border, get ready for a lot of action. And we're not talking about tourism, but rather smuggling, violence, and law enforcement issues. The town is like a modern Western movie where the law tries but almost always loses to crime. And of course, let's not forget the police officers who, instead of dealing with criminals, are often just as confused as anyone else trying to maintain order. Visiting Columbus is a bit like participating in a mystery who's who. And more importantly, how do you get out of there as quickly as possible? If you like excitement, this town has plenty of it just without the Ennio Morricone soundtrack. Dillingham, Alaska. Dillingham is a small town located in southwest Alaska, primarily known for its natural beauty and as an important hub for commercial fishing. Surrounded by stunning landscapes, it is an attractive destination for those who enjoy outdoor adventures and being close to the wilderness. However, even in such a beautiful setting, Dillingham faces challenges regarding public safety, with a relatively high rate of violence compared to its population size, which is around just over 1,000 inhabitants. Incidents of violence in Dillingham, such as assaults, are more frequent than one would expect in a small, isolated town. This is due to a number of factors affecting the region, such as geographical isolation, economic difficulties, and challenges associated with limited infrastructure. Despite its issues, the Dillingham community remains resilient, working together to promote a safer and more welcoming environment for its residents and visitors. Although it is a city facing these challenges, Dillingham still retains its natural charm, offering a unique connection to the Alaskan wilderness and a strong sense of community. Those who visit the area may find a town rich in culture and tradition, but it is important to be aware of local conditions and take necessary precautions to ensure a safe and enjoyable trip. Lumberton, North Carolina. Lumberton is a typical southern town that looks charming on the outside, with its well-kept houses and tree-lined streets lights, but has a much darker reality behind that idyllic scene. With an impressive rate of 22 violent crimes per 1,000 residents, danger walks hand in hand with charm. And it's not just random violence. The town faces a series of poverty-related problems, with much of the population living below the poverty line, which only worsens the situation. Here, the American dream seems to have taken a detour, or rather, a big detour. The well-maintained streets are actually the stage for a series of crimes, from robberies to street fights. Imagine stepping out to buy bread and ending up in the middle of a brawl. That's how Lumberton can be sometimes. The curious thing is that the town looks so tidy, as if trying to hide reality with a fresh coat of paint. Furthermore, the town has a long history of crimes that seem to defy any attempts at change. Violence ranges from robberies to more serious crimes, and it's not uncommon for incidents to happen in areas where, in theory, you'd expect more security. It's almost as if Lumberton is constantly torn between being a postcard and being an episode of crime in a small town. If you're thinking of visiting, it's best to stay alert, because here, danger could be lurking around any well-decorated corner. Doniphan, Missouri, with just 2,000 people, Doniphan seems like the kind of place where everyone knows each other. Unfortunately, they're all familiar with the high crime rates, too. The town registers 26 violent crimes per 1,000 residents, putting it at the top of the list of small towns with big problems. If you think Doniphan is just a point lost on the map, you're right. Lost in a real battle against crime. Osceola, Arkansas's Osceola sits on the banks of the mighty Mississippi River, but the town feels more like a modern-day Wild West than a peaceful riverside retreat. With 26, 5 violent crimes per 1,000 residents, violence runs rampant. The issue isn't just the criminals. The local police force is marred by corruption and unresolved incidents. It's as if chaos has found a home by the river. Espanola, New Mexico. Espanola may have just 10,000 residents, but the violent crime rate is 30 per 1,000 inhabitants. This means the town is constantly battling a wave of crime that seems never-ending. With a reputation that precedes it, Espanola is a place where you'll want to lock your doors and think twice before stepping outside. Estelle, South Carolina. With a population of just 2,000 people, Estelle has an alarming rate of 30 for violent crimes per 1,000 residents. This means practically everyone knows someone who has been a victim of violence. To make matters worse, the town is marked by a rundown appearance and deteriorating infrastructure, which only fuels the crime problems. Estelle is the kind of place where you barely feel safe inside your home, let alone outside on the streets. Anniston, Alabama. If you see the name Anniston on any list of dangerous places, don't be surprised. With 37 violent crimes per 1,000 residents, the town consistently ranks as one of the most violent in the U.S. What's most alarming is that despite being on the radar for years, the town seems unable to shake off this reputation. Anniston is the kind of town where danger seems to lurk around every corner. Kotzebue, Alaska. You might think being above the Arctic Circle would protect Kotzebue from high crime rates. But guess what? 40 violent crimes per 1,000 residents put this remote town among the most dangerous in the U.S. and with only 3,000 residents. That's an impressive but unfortunate feat. If you think cold temperatures ward off trouble, Kotzebue is here to show you that danger doesn't care about the cold. These towns may be small, but as you can see, they have big problems. So, if you thought only big cities were dangerous, think again. Did you enjoy the video? If so, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friend who loves exploring small towns just to keep them on their toes. And of course, don't forget to check out the next video popping up here on the screen. See you next time!